What does rich mean?
So that's I was going to ask that exact thing to you. What do you think it means to be rich?
Well, our slogan here is where money minds rethink rich. The whole idea behind rethinking rich is you gotta figure out what rich means to you, because what rich means to you is not what rich means to me.
Right.
And to somebody, being rich might mean having $1 million in the bank account. That's not what being rich means to me. Obviously, you need to be financially successful. Being rich, to me, is more than just financial success. It means living a rich life. So when we talk about being rich in 1 year, because I think that's everyone's question, how can I get rich ASAP? That's why we have so many get-rich-quick schemes out there. Everyone's trying to figure out, how do I get rich quick? How do I get rich fast?
Right.
So when you talk about how do I get rich in 1 year, I think you're asking, correct me if I'm wrong, how do you get financially rich?
Exactly. How exactly do you take the money that you have now and the mindset that you have and actually build that into something sustainable?
So how do you do it in 1 year? Or is it, how do I get rich, or do you have what it takes?
Well, we're going to kind of break this down into twofold, because I'm really, really interested to see what your thoughts are on, do you have what it takes to get rich, and do you have the current financial situation to build something and to be rich? Because a lot of people have the education, a lot of people have the background to actually start making money, but becoming rich is something completely different. So I want to break down first, how do you get the mindset to become rich?
Yeah. The mindset to becoming rich breaks down first, and we can interchange rich, wealthy, financially free, whatever you want. The whole mindset starts first with making the decision that, okay, I want to become financially successful. And then second, it's no longer having that victim mentality of, I can't do it. It's hard for someone like me. It's impossible for someone like me. You got to believe you can do it. And then you got to build that mindset where no matter what happens, you're going to find a way.
So where does that start? Where does this mindset of saying that I can do it start? Because there's a lot of people out there that have that kind of mindset but never seem to really get anywhere. Do you think it's something that they're doing, or do you think it's more of a money thing?
No, it's definitely not a money thing. I mean, it starts really from whatever it is here. It's an education thing. And a lot of us grow up with limiting beliefs. I did. I'm sure you did. Everybody grows up with some sort of limiting beliefs where you believe that because of how I was raised, the household that I was raised in, who my parents are, my education, whatever, because of X, Y, and Z, I can only achieve so much. Everybody has some sort of limiting beliefs. I never thought that I could be an entrepreneur. Nobody told me that it was possible. When I told my parents, my family, that I wanted to start a business, every single person told me I was stupid. No one in my business is an entrepreneur. Sorry, no one in my family is an entrepreneur. No one in my family is an investor like that. And so I didn't get that type of education or that type of like okayness. It wasn't okay for me to be an entrepreneur. When I told my parents that I wanted to start a business, they told me I was stupid, that I was throwing everything away because I was supposed to be a doctor.
Right.
I did the whole pre-med route. I had taken pre-med classes. I was doing pre-med clubs in school. I was going to these pre-med conferences. I was doing volunteering at hospitals. I was shadowing different doctors. I was doing so many different things to get me ready to become a doctor. But then when I realized that this wasn't for me, I was throwing everything away. And so the first thing you got to do is you got to make that decision for yourself. And that's hard, because becoming successful isn't a like do X, Y, and Z. You can become successful. There's so many routes to do that, especially if we talk about building your own wealth and doing it in a quicker time span, talking about 1 year. You got to be more innovative. So you're going to have to take on risks. So you're going to have to make that decision for yourself, because a lot of people are not ready to take risks.
Right.
If they were, you'd have more people investing their money. You'd have more people starting businesses. You'd have more people doing a lot of things, but a lot of people hold themselves back. So you have to be able to make that decision for yourself that, okay, I want to become successful.
Right. Yeah. And I absolutely love that, because when I was growing up, my parents just taught me to work super, super hard. And I know a ton of people that I graduated with, even in high school, that worked super, super hard and got a really good job, went to school, did the whole deal, but they weren't able to actually become rich in their minds, right? So they actually started to make a decent amount of money, but they're always telling me about how they're having these struggles constantly. What do you say to people that go to school, that actually do become doctors and go through the whole medical school experience and then get all of this money and then still struggle?
Well, I mean, that goes into the second part, right? So we talk about the mindset. You got to make that decision for yourself. Before we get there, let me finish the part about the mindset.
Sure.
Because the second part is you got to be willing to work your butt off. And that is a concept that isn't always very easy, because we live in a world now where we talk about balance and everything's got to be in harmony, and
Sure.
I got to do things the right way, and I got to get my 8 hours of sleep, and everything has to be perfect, right? We live in a world where people don't want to feel that sort of pain. And it's not even just people. I mean, you see it everywhere. Look at the 2020 crash. Why did the Federal Reserve Bank start stimulating so much? Why did we start stimulating the economy so much? Because we are trying to desensitize ourselves from risk and pain. Economic cycles are a part of the market. Yet now we're paying the price with all this inflation because of all the stimulating that we did. But going back to I'm getting sidetracked. Going back to the concept of being willing to work. When I was starting off, and I'm not saying anybody should do this. When I was starting off, speaking for myself here, I was sleeping 4 hours a night on a good night.
Woo! Man.
I was working a lot. I was going to school full time. And if I wasn't in school, I was working on my business. And this wasn't a Monday through Friday thing. This was a 7 days a week, holidays, weekends. I didn't take days off. I worked my butt off. Monday through Friday, I was in school. After school, I was running my business. I had an event planning company. So I'd be planning things in the morning. I'd be planning events in the evening. On Thursdays, Fridays, I'd be hosting events. So that means I'd be in class until afternoon, early evening time. And then if I'm hosting an event, that means I got to be at the event from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m. because we're talking about college, club parties, venues, right?
Right.
Party ends at 2 a.m. I'm not done. Now I got to make sure everything is set. I got to count the money, got to make sure the DJ's paid, got to make sure, there's no fights, there's no other problems. So now I'm at the venue until 2, 3, maybe 3:30. Go and get some food with the DJs because it's what we do. Get home by 4:30 in the morning. And now it's Saturday morning, 4:30 in the morning. And guess what happens on Saturdays? People get married. I worked in the wedding business. Indian weddings last all day, if not all week. And so now, Saturday morning, I got to get up early. I got to be at a wedding by 7, 8 a.m. to start working, to start playing, to start setting up. And so you work all day Saturday at a wedding, come home late Saturday night after the wedding's done, after you're done setting up. Sunday, you start studying and you get ready to start it all over again.
Man, yeah, so you were hustling from the very beginning, it sounds like.
You got to be willing to work.